fight of our lives. More Ohioans have died of COVID-19 than in the Korean and Vietnam Wars put together.
Stay home. Cuyahoga County issues a stay-at-home advisory to go into effect immediately. We'll tell you what it means for schools, businesses, and your Thanksgiving Day plans and how long it will last.
We've been contemplating this for the last, say, 3-4 days, and it just was the right thing to do.
Polar Express canceled. The beloved Northeast Ohio Christmas tradition called off due to COVID. What to do if you already have tickets.
And the Browns announced 3 more players on the COVID watch list. Jimmy tells us what it means for Sunday's game.
Thanksgiving for 2, tips on how to prepare a smaller feast this holiday.
And the instant facelift. If all the COVID news is giving you dark circles, the eye lift that promises results in just minutes. What's new starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Today, the United States passed another grim milestone. More than 250,000 Americans have now died from COVID-19, 250,000 lives lost. All 50 states, plus Washington, D.C., have seen a spike in the number of cases at some point in the past 2 weeks.
And back here at home, we are still waiting on today's Ohio numbers. We've reached out to the Ohio Department of Health, which says the numbers are being delayed, but did not explain why.
We're keeping our eyes on the wires. If we get those numbers, we'll pass them along to you just as soon as we see them. Hello again, Northeast Ohio. Thanks so much for choosing What's New. Along with Sara Shookman, who's in for Betsy tonight. I'm Jay Crawford. Sara, it's always good to have you in.
Oh, thanks, Jay. It's good to join you today. There is a lot going on. We've been following it all afternoon.
Sara, we begin with 3 big developments on the COVID front. First, Cuyahoga County this afternoon announcing that stay-at-home advisory. Also, Pfizer announcing its vaccine is 95% effective and could be submitted for FDA approval. This is for emergency authorization within the next several days. And the FDA has approved the first of its kind rapid at-home COVID test. Interesting development there. And with that, our senior health correspondent, Monica Robbins, joins us. She's been tackling all 3 of these big developments for us today. Monica, good afternoon to you. Let's start with the county's announcement. How is this different from a stay-at-home mandate?
Oh, big difference, Jay. This is essentially a request. It's a plea, really, for people to do the right thing and double down on these guidelines. Mandates potentially can have punitive measures attached to them. This does not. So if you've been the one following the guidelines, this really doesn't apply to you, but those who have been attending mass gatherings at parties, church, schools, etc., and not following the appropriate guidelines, this is for you. The advisory begins today through December 17th. County leaders are asking you to take personal responsibility by masking up, washing your hands, and keeping your distance, and staying home as much as possible, only going out for your necessities.
Anybody you come in contact with out there now, you should presume that they could be positive. We have so much transmission, and you should act as if you're positive. Avoid traveling in and out of the state, and forego having guests in your homes or residences during the upcoming holiday season.
So, Jay, Arlena Lai will have a deep dive on what that stay-at-home advisory is including tonight at 6.
All right, very good. Let's now move on to this Pfizer story. And this is fascinating because last week when we heard that it had done so well in phase 3 trials, it was showing about 90% efficacy. Now that number is up to 95%, which is better, obviously, than the 90. So how soon before the FDA may actually approve this?
Yeah, that's the big question. Pfizer is expected to submit this to the FDA in the next few days. If the FDA signs off, they could issue an emergency use authorization in early to mid-December. Pfizer says it could have up to 50 million doses ready by the end of the year. But remember, that's for a global market. The U.S. will only get enough for about 12.5 million people at first. And the Ohio Department of Health identified 10 sites in the state that can keep it in the cold storage it needs, and our local hospitals have that capability, Jay.
All right, the Moderna vaccine does not need that cold storage. That's one of the differences between the two. Moderna also showing 95% efficacy in their late trials. The other big story of the day, Monica, is this FDA approving at-home testing. This feels like it could be a game changer.
Yeah, the FDA approved the first at-home COVID test, but this is not something you're going to be able to just go down to CVS and pick up. You're going to need a prescription for this one. The nasal swab test gives results in 30 minutes at home and can be used by anyone over the age of 14. Cleveland Clinic was part of the research. They say it's more than 94% accurate, and the kits will be available in the spring for about $50. But the big question is, you know, there have been other rapid tests approved and given emergency use authorization. The difference is this one, you can do it all at home and it gives you results at home. The others you have to send off to a lab. What we don't know, though, is how will the reporting take place and will insurance cover it? So those are the two things we're waiting to find out, Jay.
All right, very good. Great information on three very big stories on this Wednesday evening. Monica, thanks very much.
Well, Governor Mike DeWine made a stop in Cleveland this morning to hammer home the new curfew that goes into effect across the state tomorrow night. Ohio residents will be expected to be indoors unless they are headed to work, to grab some food to go, or there's an emergency. DeWine emphasized that this new curfew is not a crackdown on businesses, but on individuals, saying we want people home at 10 o'clock.
The whole purpose is to reduce the number of contacts that people have. We're in a slowdown, certainly for the next 21 days. If we slow down, if each one of us, every single day, cuts down on the number of contacts that we have with other people, and if we wear a mask, we can knock this down.
When asked whether Ohioans should expect another state-mandated shutdown, the governor said he doesn't want to do any closures, but he admits everything is on the table.
Now on your feet at 5, the iconic Christmas movie, The Polar Express, comes to life each year in Northeast Ohio, but this year's run is sadly being cut short. And you guessed it, it is because of COVID-19. Tonight will be the last night for the Polar Express with Santa and the elves. The CEO says safety is their #1 concern. No one directly connected to the Polar Express contracted COVID, but they feel closing is the right thing to do.
Since the cases started to go up, we really felt that, you know what, maybe we could make it to Thanksgiving, but they just continued to climb. And then, with the changes that the governor had made and the way that things are getting tight, some of our volunteers, they couldn't come out.
Now, if you have tickets, you can either donate them, get a gift card, or be issued a refund. Our Romney Smith spoke with a local mom who will be telling her 6-year-old son tonight that he won't be able to ride the Polar Express. She has mixed emotions and says she's 100% sure her son will be disappointed. And I think that's par for the course, Sarah. There's so many things over the course of the last 10 months that young folks have missed out on. It's easier to rationalize to an adult why these things can't continue. I'm just thankful that I don't have little ones that age, because I just don't know how you give the right answer when telling them, well, you can scratch that off your fun list again as well.
I know, it is so hard. And we know situations change, and they are trying, many businesses, including, of course, the Cuyahoga Valley Scenic Railroad, trying to make this happen for people this year. They were trying to do it safely. They had cut down the number of people that were going to be on trains, things like that. But the situation changes, and we are where we are now in November. So it makes sense, but really tough for the little ones.
It is tough. It's tough for them to understand it. The Cleveland Orchestra also canceled its upcoming Christmas concerts as well. If you have tickets, check with the box office about options for that. Sarah?
All right, thanks, Jay. Well, the Thanksgiving feast, of course, is going to look different across the country this year as well. Smaller gatherings, meals over Zoom, and yes, even smaller portions. COVID-19 has turned so many celebrations into micro events. Turkey Day will be no different. But our Tiffany Tarpley took a look at how to embrace the micro Thanksgiving without sacrificing your favorites.
Thanksgiving may be smaller this year, but that doesn't mean the food has to be any less festive, though downsizing the main attraction may be easier said than done.
Obviously, a smaller turkey is a possibility, but maybe hard to find.
Personal chef Jill Aker-Ray says it's okay to think even smaller.
I really love to do Cornish hens. They're a teeny tiny little chicken, and they're easy to do for individuals or for small groups. The other thing I love to use is turkey tenderloin. They're really versatile.
And if you are tackling the entire turkey,
the general rule of thumb is that you need about 1.5 pounds of turkey per person. Thanksgiving is on Thursday. Start thawing it in your fridge on Monday.
Want something a bit more low-key? Chef Jill says try a sheet pan Thanksgiving or an all-in-one casserole.
That has all the Thanksgiving favorites in it, from mashed potatoes to green beans to stuffing to sweet potatoes to the turkey itself.
For the person that is more likely to make reservations than a meal, make this the year you order in.
I think, again, this year, outsourcing is the way to go. You're supporting local. Again, with restaurants and things, a lot of them are doing smaller size.
Whether you cook or order out, take the time to give thanks for what you do have and the fact 2020 is soon coming to an end. Tiffany Tarpley, 3 News.
We're all thankful for that, aren't we?
We are. In the story, they said allow 1.5 pounds of turkey for each guest. I can slay some turkey. I really can. I'm not coming anywhere near 1.5 pounds. I don't know where that calculation comes from.
I think you have to take into account all of the bones and the structure.
So that's pre-weight.
Yes, that is the weight of the turkey before it is cooked. If you're doing the whole turkey, if you're doing a tenderloin or something like she suggested, you don't want to factor that in, of course.
I imagine that, they're going to have a lot of huge turkeys not sell this year. Because normally, if you're having a lot of guests, you get the biggest one you can find. I can't imagine there's going to be a lot of huge Thanksgiving Day celebrations. Big turkeys, maybe at a big discount, perhaps.
I know, that's a good point. If you like turkey, maybe you buy a big one and you have a lot of leftovers.
Eat on it for a week.
Leftovers are the best.
I agree with you. I love the leftovers. Next on What's New, more Browns players are now on the COVID watch list. What does that mean? Well, who do you turn to for answers? No one but the voice of the Browns, Jim Donovan. He's going to tell us what all that means for Sunday's game against the Eagles.
And Cleveland native Machine Gun Kelly opens up about his relationship with Megan Fox and how she saved his life.
And Matt Wintz in for weather tonight. Hello, Matt, as we enjoy that gorgeous shot of the Cleveland skyline in the sunset. Beautiful.
Yeah, Turkey Slayer, it has been a beautiful afternoon and evening. It's so good to see that sunshine out once again. But Jay, we just got done with the wind on Sunday. We've got more strong wind heading our way tomorrow. We'll detail how strong it gets, and we'll take that forecast all the way through Thanksgiving coming up.
I can, yes. Hi. Okay. Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Welcome back to What's New. By now, you've likely heard the Browns have placed 3 more players on that COVID-19 reserve list. This comes just 4 days before Sunday's game with the Eagles. The voice of the Browns, Jimmy Donovan, joins us now with more on that. Hey, Jimmy, certainly not good news.
No, it isn't, Jay, but it's kind of getting to be the norm, not only in Berea, but all around the NFL. So let's go through it. We get the news today that 3 players on the Browns roster currently now have been put on the COVID-19 reserve list, not because they tested positive, but instead because they came in close contact with someone who did. Here are the 3 players, and they're all important. They're all important for these all-important games now. The Browns starting right tackle Jack Conklin is out right now. Charlie Hewlett, who is the long snapper on special teams, and the Browns place kicker, Cody Parkey. Now, remember, the Browns have had 2 players test positive, and they remain out right now. That's the tackle Chris Hubbard, whose positive test came back last Friday, and, of course, the fullback Andy Janovich. His positive test came back on Monday. Now, these players continue to show no symptoms right now, the 3 players that we have up on the screen right now. If they continue to have negative testing, then there's a good chance they will play on Sunday against the Philadelphia Eagles. That is the bright spot right now. Now, they're all important, but the Browns have taken some insurance out on if they lost their kicker. Cody Parkey is their kicker right now, and here he is, and he's having a great year. He is right now 11 for 12 on field goals, and he's only missed 1 extra point. But in the preseason, leading up to the regular season, the Browns took out a little insurance policy, and they signed a kicker, Matthew McCrane. He's the backup kicker, and put him on the practice squad. So if Parkey comes up with a negative test and can't be part of the Browns' active roster on Sunday, then McCrane would be elevated from the practice squad. He would become their kicker. It's interesting, Jay, a couple of years ago, Baker Mayfield's first regular season start came against the Oakland Raiders in a wild game out west in the Coliseum. And Matt McCrane beat the Browns in overtime with a relatively short field goal. And that was his first game in the NFL. Now he could be kicking for them on Sunday. But right now, as I was out at practice today, there was a strong feeling that these 3 players, at least, not necessarily Hubbard and Janovich, they will not be available. But these 3 players who were put on the reserve list will be okay and have a good chance of being available Sunday. One other note, Jay, Myles Garrett under the weather today, not COVID-related. He was kept at home following the NFL protocols. They feel he'll be fine and ready to go and bring his 9.5 sacks to the stadium on Sunday.
Yeah, and they're going to be needed for sure. Quickly, before we let you go, I noticed late this afternoon that Roger Goodell taking the step to heighten all NFL teams. All 32 teams now are basically at DEFCON red. They're taking all of the extreme measures that early on only teams with outbreaks were taking. So the NFL certainly taking this very seriously.
Yeah, because right now, Jay, you're getting to the point where really the last level of teams that would have their bye week, they're going to have their bye week, and then all of the teams will be done with bye weeks. So you really can't jockey around with the schedule any longer. How about this, Jay? The Las Vegas Raiders getting set for a huge game this weekend against Kansas City. Their entire, I underline, their entire defense, as of right now, was put on the COVID reserve list.
Wow. Well, that would certainly scratch their game. It'd be impossible to take the field without a defense. Okay, that's something we'll certainly keep an eye on. By the way, the Raiders, one of 4 or 5 teams that the Browns are jockeying with for one of those wild card spots. Jimmy, absolutely. Great information. We'll see you at 6.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jay. Good talking to you.
You bet.
Well, it sounds like there are some reasons to breathe a sigh of relief, at least when it comes to the Browns and the COVID news coming out of there today.
Yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed, really, because, man, when you hear Myles Garrett was under the weather, the next thing out of Jimmy's mouth was not COVID-related, and I know Browns fans everywhere was like, okay, great, you don't want anybody to be on that COVID reserve list.
So glad to hear that.
So, Matt, I think it's appropriate that your weather word today is hopeful. We're all hopeful that this thing blows away and the Browns can take the field Sunday against the Eagles.
Absolutely. And Jay, you actually gave a little precursor to the weather forecast here by saying blows away. So certainly, I love the way you just toss those things to me. So we'll get that in there for sure. Let's talk about it, though. We've got some wind on the way tomorrow. This is not going to be the kind of wind we had on Sunday. Sunday, we had a storm system moving through, right? We had the rain, the thunder, the lightning, and then it turned to the cool air back and behind, and we had a lot of wind with that system. This is actually a pressure gradient difference between a high and a low pressure. So we're going to be dry, but it's going to be windy. So we'll take you through that, but first we'll set it up. You can see temperatures today, we're in the low 40s. We're dropping back pretty quickly here under clear skies and calming winds, but look at the warmth down towards our southwest, 70s and 60s, way above average once again in the plains. We're going to really warm up rapidly here, and it's all coming in as early as tomorrow. How about that? What a change. Big picture, though, the beautiful sunset brought to you by some of these high clouds you can see floating through areas of the Great Lakes, making for a very nice looking sunset out there. That's what we'll get in over the next couple days, or some of these periods of high clouds. We will see lots of sunshine as well. But there's the high pressure, and the difference between that and an area low pressure up towards Canada, the squeeze is going to be on, and right in between we're going to see strong winds develop during the daytime tomorrow. In fact, there are wind advisories stretching from Oklahoma all the way up into northeast Ohio, mainly during the daytime hours tomorrow, and this will be mainly in our western tier of counties that see the strongest winds. We could see gusts of 45. It starts really at 10 o'clock in the morning, goes all the way through sunset tomorrow night. So here are your wind speeds in white. You see the yellow, those are your gusts. Here's your forecast tomorrow afternoon. Some gusts over 40, especially off towards the west. The winds will start to subside after sunset, but it's still going to be a breezy Thursday night. Again, nothing like what we experienced on Sunday, but still some pretty strong winds. And then on Friday, we'll go from windy to breezy. So the winds will start to ease on Friday with that. Now, in terms of the sky conditions and temperatures, your National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast, it will be a cold night tonight. We're back near freezing, especially inland. And tomorrow, you can see the wind kicking up. We'll have clouds mixed with some sunshine, and temperatures, look at that, up near 60 tomorrow. So the wind will be helping to bring in that warmer air. And then tomorrow night, we're still dealing with some high cloudiness and mild temperatures, but we're all hopeful that the warm air will continue. And you know what? Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast, it does on Friday. More warm conditions around here. A look ahead to the weekend. We do bring rain in here on Sunday. That'll linger into Monday. And we'll take that forecast all the way through Wednesday. That's obviously a big travel day. A little different this year. Looks like we'll see a storm system then. And coming up in our next weather segment, we'll take a really close look at the national weather map for Thanksgiving week. I can't believe it's here already.
Hard to believe, Matt. You had us on edge. We didn't know if you were going to remember to be hopeful, but you got it in.
Appreciate the director.
All right, well,
he had to be reminded.
Yeah, he got a hint.
Al gets the assist.
Well, still ahead for us tonight on What's New. Michael B. Jordan is officially the sexiest man alive. What the actor's mom thinks about the recognition.
Where did Matt Wentz come in on that list, I wonder? I wonder if he was top 10.
He's hopeful.
And this dude's got some moves that are absolutely worth the watch. You'll see all of them coming up.
Welcome back. Michael B. Jordan was recognized as this year's sexiest man alive. Plus, Machine Gun Kelly tells us all how Megan Fox saved his life. Here's Kira Cotton with today's Pop Break.
The babies of quarantine are starting to arrive. Model Carly Kloss is the latest celebrity to announce that she is expecting a child with husband Joshua Kushner. The 28-year-old took to Instagram Tuesday telling her followers good morning before slowly panning to her growing baby bump. This is the couple's first child together. Congratulations to them and best of luck. Machine Gun Kelly is not selling tickets to he and girlfriend Megan Fox's downfall. In a new interview with Nylon, the Cleveland native describes the passion behind their relationship and how she helped him become a better version of himself. He told the magazine, "Finding someone that can take you out of the fast lane and make sure that you're safe because at any minute you can crash, I love that it can evolve into that." The two met on set back in March and went public with their relationship this summer. We wish them the best of luck.
I think a lot of the older women in my family are definitely proud of this one. This is one that they're definitely going to have a special place for.
Last but certainly not least, People magazine has named Michael B. Jordan as 2020's sexiest man alive. The 33-year-old actor revealed the magazine cover last night on Jimmy Kimmel after coming out in complete disguise as a hazmat worker. We've watched his career blossom over the years, from his earlier roles in Hardball and Fantastic Four to his breakout roles in Fruitville Station, Creed, and of course, Black Panther. You guys, I have been a fan of Michael B. Jordan since his days on The Wire back in 2003. And he's not just handsome, he's also a humanitarian. If you ask me, it doesn't get much better than that. Back to you guys.
Yeah, so Kiara approves. Kiara definitely approves, and she's not alone, I'm sure. All right, pay attention to our Worth the Watch. I saw this on Instagram this morning, couldn't wait to share it here. This is from Instagram user Rampage the Dancer. And man, I'm telling you, this guy's got all kinds of moves.
I don't know how everybody around him is just like not watching this. They don't seem like they're dialed in.
I know. It's odd to me. Like, if I was out there, I would stop what I'm doing. I mean, I know there's a beautiful waterfalls in the background. You know, the odd thing about this is everybody's probably wondering who's under that mask.
Yeah, that's true.
It's Matt Wintz. It's our weather guy, Matt Wintz. And I had no idea Matt could dance like that. No, I'm just kidding.
Got talents you've never seen.
I bet he can dance close to that. Not quite as good, but close. Next on What's New, more good news on the COVID vaccine front. One could be submitted for FDA approval now in just a matter of days. We're going to talk to a doctor about what that means for all of us. That's coming up in just the next couple of minutes.
And later on, we're talking about an instant facelift. Really, it's an eye lift you get in just a few minutes. At least that's what the product promises. But does it actually work? We're going to put it to the test.
Hi, how are you? Good and well, thanks. 54321. Mm-hmm.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
And hello again, and welcome to the second half hour of What's New. A very busy day with a lot of different stories breaking on the COVID front. We have the new advisory in Cuyahoga County, also some big developments on the COVID vaccine front, and numbers from the state of Ohio. Typically, we give you those numbers at the top of every show. Sara Shookman in for Betsy, along with Jay Crawford. But Sara, we don't have those numbers yet. There's been a delay in reporting those numbers to the state. I don't want to speculate as to what that might mean, but we have both noted that they have been very prompt. Every day, 2 o'clock sharp, those numbers are released. So far, we have nothing. When we get those numbers, we'll be sure to pass them along.
Yeah, this is the first time either of us can remember that they weren't here right at 2 o'clock. And we know earlier in the week, at least with the city of Cleveland, they said the volume, the caseload that they were having to verify was just so great. They couldn't keep up. That was what was happening at the city level. We hope we learn more what's happening at the state level very soon.
Absolutely. Our top talker at 5:30, it is even more good news on the vaccine front. Today we learned that Pfizer's vaccine is even more effective than first reported. 95%, in fact. The final analysis comes just 1 week after initial reports showed that the vaccine was 90% effective. Pfizer and BioNTech says they plan to apply for emergency U.S. authorization within days. Dr. Joseph Fair is an NBC News science contributor. He joins us again now on the program. Doctor, always good to have you on. Thanks for joining us. I'm wondering if we have any idea yet how the vaccine holds up across different racial groups as well as different age groups. We know this vaccine definitely affects different age groups in different ways.
Yeah, I haven't specifically reviewed the data on that front yet, but there have been critiques of multiple trials that they haven't included, not necessarily enough racial groups. I think that most of it has been focused on the inclusion of children, because children are such a key question right now in the opening of schools, and, being able to vaccinate a child safely and allow schools to be reopened is a key part of, reopening American life. And so I think that the biggest critiques have been around children and age rather than racial disparities. But that's not to say that they don't exist in this particular child, just that I haven't reviewed it specifically.
Right. Doctor, can you give us an estimated timeline? And I know this is really unprecedented because we're in territory we've never before been in terms of a vaccine being developed so quickly. But what kind of timeline might we be looking at here? Because again, they plan to file for emergency authorization use within days. So what then?
So the FDA will then undergo what is a very thorough review process of all of the data, all of the procedures, how the vaccine was made, all of the different components, all of the different side effects, what was the record on every patient for every data point being a day that they were recorded. What was the data on that information, and what did it look like? Are there any gaping holes in the data? Are there any questions that the FDA wants to see answered that would be relevant to safety? Because the most important thing is that, whatever we put into humans, it has to be safe. And if we risk putting something in there that, has adverse events or makes someone ill, that's going to set back the movement, in the fight against COVID-19 more than you can imagine.
Doctor, quickly, because we have limited time, a Pew Research study says 49% of Americans will not get the vaccine at this time. Quickly, your advice to people who are concerned about its safety.
That's why I say what I just said. Pay attention to the safety trials, look at it for yourself, and, kind of make that decision. Am I willing to place my loved ones at risk, if I have someone that's elderly or at risk, or am I going to take the vaccine? And in a lot of cases, you may not have a choice. If you need to go to work someplace that requires the vaccine, or your child needs to go to school, you may not have a choice.
All right. Dr. Fair, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Well, here's what else is happening tonight. Russ Mitchell is in with the headlines over there. Hi, partner.
Hey, partner. How are you? Jay, good afternoon
Russ,
to
good
you.
to see you.
Good afternoon to you at home. The Trump campaign paying $3 million for a partial recount in Wisconsin. That recount will begin on Friday. President-elect Biden is the cold winner of the state. It's 10 electoral votes. The Trump campaign wants recounts in 2 of the state's most heavily Democratic counties, claiming absentee ballots were illegally altered and issued. Wisconsin officials say there is no evidence of that. Also, Boeing 737 MAX planes are headed to the skies again. The plane, which was grounded since March of last year after 2 crashes killed almost 350 people, has gotten approval from the FAA to go back in service. The plane's automatic flight control system was at the center of the investigation into those crashes. And Carnival Cruise Lines has now canceled cruises until February, but hopes to then begin a gradual return. Right now, Carnival is working on a plan to bring passengers back safely and meet all CDC requirements. Once ready, the first cruises will only leave from Miami and Port Canaveral. So if you get a Carnival cruise booked, obviously you want to call them up and see what's going on, get your money back or perhaps reschedule.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of hesitation about cruises even as things come back online in the next few months.
I think you're right.
All right, Russ, thank you. We'll see you again in about 30 minutes for What Matters Most at 6.
Yeah.
Well, it is Wellness Wednesday here, and today we're talking about beauty. There is no shortage of options to help if you're unhappy with your eyes, but some products offer subtle effects, or surgery, on the other extreme, can be painful and expensive. Consumer investigator Danielle Serino tells us today about a product that promises to get rid of under-eye bags in minutes.
They say the eyes don't lie, and that's particularly true when it comes to appearance.
I do have the fine lines and wrinkles, and I have got Botox.
It's why Rebecca and Dan
I've always had dark circles, probably even since I was a kid.
were willing to try a product called Plexiderm, which claims to do this nearly instantly at a cost of only $2 an application.
The instant results are from a technology that comes from naturally based silicates found in shale rock. Once applied, your skin tightens and firms.
We took the product to the Parker Skin and Aesthetic Clinic, where the staff took photos and captured three-dimensional views of Becca and Dan's eyes with the Vectra 3D imaging system to scientifically measure the results of Plexiderm. They read the directions.
Use about half the size of a pea under each eye.
Gently apply a thin, even layer around eyes or other areas.
And then we mimicked the Plexiderm commercial by keeping a camera on them for 10 minutes, which is how long the makers say it will take to see results.
It does feel like shrink wrap under your eye.
Here's Becca before the Plexiderm. Here's after.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I see a big difference.
Here's Dan's eyes before, and here's after.
Looks like there's a little improvement. Yeah, not bad.
There are no harsh chemicals in the cream, and it works kind of like if you use tape to pull up your skin, according to Dr. Parker.
Other products like eye creams that contain healthy ingredients to make your skin stay firmer, tighter long-term are going to give more gradual improvement. So this is almost like an instant temporary fix.
The only downside is you can see a bit where it was applied.
I can tell where, if I didn't get it up high enough, I think I can tell where it's not as tight.
Also, how long it lasts varies. Dan says his results started to wear off and flake in 3 hours. Becca says hers lasted until she washed her face, nearly 12 hours later, although she accidentally used double the amount indicated.
Whoever does this next, tell them not to open 2 of them.
But heck, if you got a party to go to, or maybe even an interview, with no pain at a fraction of the price of other procedures, this is a sight for sore eyes.
I will probably purchase this. Definitely.
The product got nearly 4 out of 5 stars on Amazon. Those who didn't like it say it didn't last long enough, and that when they applied makeup over it, their skin looked worse. According to the company, those customers probably used oil-based cleansers before applying the product, which doesn't allow it to set properly. As for the makeup issues, you have to again wait for it to dry completely before applying any. I put their full statement on our website, WKYC.com. I'm Danielle Serino, 3 News.
All right, Danielle, thanks. There you go. Beauty has its price. Still ahead on What's New, stay at home. We're going to look at what some of our neighbors are saying about an advisory to curtail activities.
And later, we check in with the Balmert family. Little Ryan has endured so many surgeries on her heart, but the family has 1 million reasons to be thankful today and why they say the pandemic is what made it possible.
Hello, Al. How goes it? It is Wednesday. It's November 18th, and the holiday lights will be on in East Cleveland again. Yeah. Well, that's good. Okay's not bad these days. All right.
Welcome back, 5:42 now, and we were treated to some sunshine today, and Matt, boy did we need it. After that little snowy mess that a lot of us saw yesterday, kind of a grim reminder of the winter that is to come. We'll take any sunshine, any temperature, any sun, at least I will.
Yeah. You got it. What a difference maker sunshine is, Sarah. You know, I've already forgotten about the snow and cold. We got to sweep that stuff behind us and just focus on the future. Look at the sunset, though. If anyone has a great view of the sunset right now, it is just fantastic. It is stunning. I'm telling you, these high clouds working in just make the world a difference when it comes to the different colors of the sunset. And it is going to be a stellar one. I think tomorrow as well, as we'll have more high clouds over the area. But tonight, our main concern is really nothing weather-wise other than winds will start to increase tonight. You can see there at the bottom of the screen, we've got our wind speed, and it really starts to ramp up as you get towards the morning hours. In fact, our computer model there not detecting any weather at 5 a.m., so we might need to check on that one. I'll crank it up again, but speaking of cranking up, those winds will really start to kick up. And the reason why, you can see some of the high clouds now, it's not due to a big area of low pressure or a massive system coming through. It's the high pressure that's virtually just down to our south right now, and a low pressure off towards the north. When you squeeze those together, you really crank some wind out, and both are very strong pressure systems, and we're going to develop some stronger winds, not just in our area tomorrow, but all the way over back towards Oklahoma and areas of Kansas. So wind advisories are out as a result. Locally, this is mainly going to be the western half of our viewing area. Everyone's going to be breezy to downright windy tomorrow, but the strongest gusts are going to be in our western counties. So let's take you through the wind gusts. Those yellow numbers, those are the gusts. That's the one we'll keep our eye on. You can see as we go through time, 1 o'clock, we've got gusts over 40. As we get into the 5 o'clock hour, still talking strong wind gusts. This isn't going to be confined to the lakeshore counties as it is with a west or northwest wind. This is going to be everybody. And then you can see tomorrow evening, it does start to subside a little bit as that gradient relaxes. But we're not going to have rain with us. We're not going to have storms. It's just going to be a sunny mix with some clouds kind of day. And it's going to be real windy to boot. And what that wind will do is you look at our National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast. It'll take us from the 30s tomorrow morning all the way up into the near 60-degree range tomorrow. How about that? So it'll be windy and warm tomorrow. We'll be in and out of clouds. I think we'll see a fair amount of sunshine, and that will keep us mild tomorrow night as well. So a pretty nice day outside of those strong winds. Let's take a big picture view, shall we? We'll look at our Thanksgiving week. Here's Sunday. That's our next real chance of rain as a weather system moves through. If you've got any sort of travel plans or if you're just hunkering down at home, this is what the weather's going to look like. Monday looks good, Tuesday looks good, but watch what happens in the Plain States Tuesday night and Wednesday. Pretty decent system there with more wind. We'll be on the rainy side of this, and models right now do clear us out for Thanksgiving itself. That's going to be something we keep an eye on, some of those models to see if they fluctuate. But you can see it reflected here in the Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast. 60s the next 2 days. We bring in cooler air for the weekend. Saturday looks dry. There's our system Sunday, Monday. And then Jay and Sara back towards Wednesday and Thanksgiving itself. That's when we'll deal with our next system. But overall, I don't think we can complain about the forecast outside of some of these breezy conditions.
Yeah, look, wind, fine, cold, fine. Snow, not good with it. So that gets a 2 thumbs up from me. But again, Sunday for the Browns game looks like it's going to be bad weather. That'll be the 3rd straight home game for the Browns. It was played in pretty bad weather. Not good.
It's an interesting pattern. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Every Sunday from here.
All right, Matt, thanks. We'll see you tomorrow. It is time to see right now what's clicking in Cleveland. And for that, we bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Stephanie, a very good hump day to you. I hope everything's well.
Everything's great, Jay, and a happy Wednesday to you. Now, you know people are talking about that Cuyahoga County stay-at-home advisory, and some people are very happy about it, but other people have questions, and some wonder what kind of an impact an advisory can have. Angela Schultz says that this is long overdue, tweeting that finally someone is making a smart decision for once. She is praying that this kind of thing catches on. Now, along similar lines, Barbara Stiles would like to see this across Ohio. She tweeted that she wishes Governor Mike DeWine had the guts to do what's needed to stop the spread of COVID cases, and that Northeast Ohio must be fed up with it. But Chuck Guglielmo makes an interesting point. With the advisory recommending people stay home except for essential activities, he's asking, how will the city keep 12,000 people away from First Energy Stadium on Sunday when the Browns play the Philadelphia Eagles? Today, though, DeWine specifically said he didn't think being at the stadium was a big COVID risk. But maybe the biggest difference between DeWine's statewide curfew and the Cuyahoga County approach is one is an order and one is an advisory. Now, Karen thinks that a stay-at-home advisory won't do anything and that it would have to be an order to have a chance of being effective. Now, switching gears, here's some good news. The Neela Parks holiday lights will shine on East Cleveland once again. That switch is getting flipped on December 4th this year. There will be 500,000 LED lights lighting up Noble Road, and that goes through January 4th. This will be the 96th year for this light display, Jay, and it's just really nice to know that with so much changing, at least one more holiday tradition will be staying the same this year.
It is very good to see that. Just a little slice of normalcy and in a sea of otherwise abnormal. Thank you very much, Stephanie. We appreciate it.
Still ahead on what's new, an update on our favorite littlest viewer, Ryan Balmert, the 4-year-old with a broken heart. The pandemic has brought an unexpected blessing, so we check in with the Balmert family.
And later, a good news COVID story. Christmas came a little early for one waitress. We have her incredible story up next.
Hey, mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3. 1 2 3 4 5. Residents are strongly advised not to conduct any outdoor gather. Okay. Yep. Go.
Well, we have been checking in with the Balmerts of Avon since 2019 as 2-year-old Ryan then underwent multiple heart surgeries. Somehow the family always sees the bright side no matter what the challenge. And Lindsay Buckingham explains it's probably why they have connected with more than 1 million people across the world.
2020 has just been nothing but a roller coaster, but you know, we get on, we buckle up, and we go for the ride.
2020, a year supposed to be full of new beginnings for the Balmert family. When we first met 2-year-old Ryan in 2019, she was facing her biggest surgery yet for a congenital heart defect.
Ryan has corrected transposition of the great arteries, and that means her bottom chambers, her left and her right, are kind of flip-flopped.
Her parents, Lindsay and Chris, always by her side, staying upbeat through a growing social media following.
What's up, Team Balmer? Welcome back to another video.
And despite many road bumps,
this will be her 4th OR trip this year. And that's a lot for a little 2.5-year-old body to be put through.
Ryan on her way to long-lasting recovery until a COVID-19 scare last spring.
When the pandemic hit, it was the beginning of March. We were actually in Washington, D.C. We were advocating on her behalf and her Heart Warrior friends on their behalf for extra funding for congenital heart defect research. We came home, she started getting sick. So we were like, oh no, Did we bring this home?
We got real paranoid.
We got really paranoid.
Thankfully, just a simple ear infection, but revealing something else. How terrifying the pandemic is for parents of children who have already gone through so much.
It was just, it was a crazy ride.
Other challenges would follow. Chris furloughed from his job.
You know, this journey has been a lot of ups and downs, and it has been a kind of a 1 step forward, 2 step back kind of deal. So we were like, okay, great, what else is on our plate? What else do we have to take on? So we were ready to battle it.
This family, masters in finding the silver lining.
It let us focus on our Team Balmert and growing that. We were able to grow it over 1 million followers on Facebook. So I think it was a blessing in disguise.
You heard that right. Team Balmert hitting the 1 million milestone. Now more than ever, followers feeling connected to this Avon family in such an unprecedented time.
It's a crazy accomplishment. I mean, something that we once thought was far-fetched. You know, now we have a whole community of people from all over the world.
The hope? More awareness for their heart community and a polished appreciation for each other and all they've overcome.
So we're learning new things with this pandemic every single day. So the more money that we can generate for heart defect research, the more that they can do.
I felt like us being home for the past, 10 months has kind of made you realize like what's truly important.
Lindsay Buckingham, 3 News.
So glad she is doing well. They are such an inspiration, and they got big plans for 2021 as well. Of course, we're going to keep you updated on all those adventures. You can follow their journey on social media as well. We've got all the links on WKYC.com.
She looks great. For all she's been through, she looks great.
She sure does, and you hear them talk about it. Man, if we could all have that attitude, I think we'd be in a much better place.
Yep, that's well said. Still ahead on What's New, one Ohio waitress's holiday just got a whole lot brighter. You will not believe the tip that was left on a $67 dinner tab.
And coming up on What Matters Most, no more waiting in long lines of cars for that COVID test. The FDA has just approved the first rapid test that you can take at home. We'll tell you how you can get one at 6 o'clock.
Mike, check Monica. What we don't know is if this will be covered by insurance and who's. I didn't change anything. Okay.
I'm here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right now we got clear skies across the region.
Yeah, I'm here. Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Brandon's microphone. This is what it sounds like to be Brandon.
Hi, testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, hello, hello.
Well, this story should make you smile. Today's Show Us Something Good comes from our friends in Toledo. The restaurant industry has been decimated by the pandemic, but acts of kindness, they're popping up all over the place. This weekend, Tatiana Majanya was working her normal shift at Bubba's 33 when she received, Sarah, get this, a $1,000 tip.
Oh my.
How about that? The total dinner bill was $67. So that means the customer tipped her nearly 1,500%. Majanya's boss said she is a great server and she deserves it. And we say good for you, Tatiana, and whoever left that huge tip.
That is so impressive.
It really
going to
is.
make her holiday for sure.
It should. Thanks so much for watching another episode of What's New. We're back tomorrow at 5, and we hope you join us.
And what matters most starts with Rusta and Tiffany right now.
Now at 6, stay home.
Every county